Well, I filled out my ballot, and I'll take it into town to drop it off in a ballot box in a little bit. And it was long to do because there's so many propositions in the California ballot, and I wanted to study them a little bit to make the best choice according to what I think is right. And that reminds me of what I want to talk to you about today, which is maybe a bit apropos for us who are engaged in trying to make decisions about what we think is the best course for our country or for our state or for our local area. And I want to just quote a little bit from the spiritual exercises of St Ignatius, what he calls the presupposition. And it's that the director who's directing someone on the spiritual exercises really needs to try to give a good interpretation to what the person is saying. It says, to assure better cooperation and more beneficial results, it's necessary to suppose that every good Christian is more ready to put a good interpretation on another statement than to condemn it as false. So it's very interesting if we listen to other people and our initial reaction is to take what they're saying apart and show how it's wrong. Well, we lead ourselves then into more of an argumentative phase. But if we originally listen to what they're saying with a mindset that I'm going to try to understand the truth of what they're saying, how it is that what they're saying reflects on some important issue to them or to the world around us, then instead of entering an argumentative phase, we enter into a phase where we can try to ask for explanation or approve of certain things and maybe disagree with other things. In a world that's so divisive, I think perhaps we've learned to make the argumentative the first way that we approach what somebody says. This beautiful thing, advice that Ignatius gives to the director of the retreat is so helpful, because then one enters as best you can into the mind of another person and appreciates what's there, while also being able to help if one senses that some things might need to be adjusted or corrected, and you talk about that. And maybe that could be a way for us to live our lives now in this more politicized world, that first of all we try to find what we can agree with in what another person says, what's truthful to them and to us. Then after that we might have to go in another direction, but to begin appreciating and then to move to some sort of discussion if that's important. And St. Ignatius gives us that, and as I was looking at the ballot propositions, I could see that so many of them were based on very good hopes and dreams for people, but still I had to try to figure out which would seem more helpful to our society. It's a decision that I had to make, but it was easier to do by appreciating where the different propositions originally came from. And so I think in all of our discussions, the wisdom of Ignatius, to open our hearts first, to appreciate what another is saying, then afterwards to see if we need to adjust or to discuss. And that's the wisdom of Ignatius for today.